Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Adam Eisen Show. I'm back to bring you all the 9th edition in Season 2, and we've got a fun episode for today. I want to go ahead and jump into it with a topic that is going to linger while I talk about a few different teams, and then I'll tie it all back together with a big pretty bow. And that topic, it's that 3-3 means much different things for different things. And if we started off taking a look at the Seattle Seahawks and at the Atlanta Falcons, the Seahawks to start, both these teams, analysts, myself, everybody thought these teams were tanking this year. With Marcus Mariota, and Geno Smith as the two respective quarterbacks, everybody thought they were tanking. The rosters were untalented. Seahawks were keeping Pete Carroll in place, who is a defensive-minded guy, and we thought was going to get fired after this year, and it was going to forever tarnish his legacy, and he was going to be known as a guy who got fired from multiple institutions. Everyone thought these were the two teams. These were the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns. This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few years ago. They're tanking. But this is the beauty of football. Anybody can go out any given Sunday and win football games. Different schemes. Guys like in Atlanta, they've been hearing the noise all off season. They hear the noise week to week how they're underdogs. Just last week, they beat the San Francisco 49ers 28-14. It was a big statement win for the Falcons at home. Not to mention, it also brings back fan bases. These stadiums, Seattle's and Atlanta's, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they're massive. Before coming into this season, all these fans are hearing is that these teams are tanking. They're not going to be that good this year. This is not their year. Well, fans aren't going to come to games. But now they're sitting at 3-3. Stadiums are starting to fill back up. Profits going back up. And a billion-dollar organization where money's always exchanging hands, you can't lose that income. You need everything you can get. A tanking year is good for nobody. And the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons are proving everybody wrong. But then, if we go to other teams, three other teams, the Los Angeles Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Green Bay Packers, who are all 3-3, who are all sitting at 500, 3-3 means much, much different for those teams. The Los Angeles Rams last year, they were the Super Bowl champion. I still have them picked to win the Super Bowl this year. They're an extremely talented roster. Les Snead, the GM, Sean McVay, the head coach. They got Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. They signed Bobby Wagner, Allen Robinson. They've got everybody on that team. They're sitting at 3-3. Their organization's disappointed. The 49ers, with what I think is the most talented roster in the league and the most talented coach in the league in Kyle Shanahan, they're sitting at 3-3. And last night, the 49ers, they made a move for Christian McCaffrey. The Rams, they also made a move for McCaffrey because they are not satisfied with 3-3. They're trying to get better. That says what they're there to do. And it says something about the Packers, too. The Packers, they don't pursue free agents. They don't go out and go all in on a team. The 49ers and the Rams understand the goal is to win a Super Bowl. The 49ers, they didn't have to trade any first for Christian McCaffrey. That says something about the Panthers as well. The Panthers, they are unloading. Christian McCaffrey, he had a huge contract, one that was way too big for a running back, especially one that gets injured as much as he does. Now the 49ers, they're getting better around a stacked offense, around what I think is the most talented team in the NFC, right up there with the Philadelphia Eagles. This is another sign as well that the 49ers, they believe, with Jimmy G, they are a Super Bowl team. They already went out and gave up 3 firsts for Trey Lance. And now they just went out next year. They gave up a second, third, and fourth next year, another pick the following year. They've given up all their draft capital. They don't know what they're going to get from Trey Lance, but they know for a fact this year is a Super Bowl team because Jimmy G has gotten them there before. You go out and you do that, you dump 3 firsts and all the rest of your picks, You're telling me you're putting all your chips into one basket. They believe. The 49ers front office, that organization, they believe this is a Super Bowl year for them and they could win it. The Rams last year, they pushed their chips in and they went out and won. And I think this is the right move for the 49ers. They're simply too talented, and Jimmy G is the best they're going to get after trading 3 firsts away for Trey Lance. You can sit back and you can wait. But if you go all in and win a Super Bowl like Les Snead, Matthew Stafford, and Sean McVay did, it gives you 3 to 4 year job buffer window. It gives you safety, what everybody wants. There's billions of dollars at stake. This is high pressure situations. Everybody wants some job security. 49ers, they're going for it now. They know with 3 to 4 more years of a buffer window, they could rebuild themselves and get back. But you don't know the future in San Francisco with Trey Lance. But with Jimmy G, you know what's up. You know that you can get yourselves there. And that's why he's sitting at 3-3. They went out, they made a trade to get better, to know they can compete for a Super Bowl, just like that whole organization does, and just like I know they can do. Now, the Green Bay Packers, the last 3-3 team I want to talk about, they lost to the Jets this past weekend, 27-10, and it was a pitiful loss overall. It started the game. It almost started the game with a Rodgers pick 6. Luckily, the ball hit the ground first before Tunyon caught it, before Tunyon bubbled it. But what my big takeaway from this were the fans that were booing while Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers offense were on the field. Fans were booing the Green Bay Packers offense for the first time. I have not seen that in 12, 13 years. That doesn't happen in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We have much different landscapes right now. With all these 3-3 teams, we're looking at the Seattle Seahawks and at the Atlanta Falcons. They're 3-3, and those fan bases are ecstatic. Everybody thought those organizations were tanking. Everybody thought this was their down year. They were going for draft picks. They're ecstatic at 3-3. You got the defending Super Bowl champions and the 49ers. 2 of the most talented rosters in the league. They're sitting at 3-3, and they're pissed. Their fans are pissed. And both of them are going out, and they're trying to make trades. They're trying to get better. And then you go to another 3-3 team, the Green Bay Packers, who are getting booed at home when the offense is on the field. The Packers, for years, they never go and get better before the trade deadline. They never go and get better in free agency and sign a big-name wide receiver, someone for Aaron Rodgers. They don't draft first-round offensive skill players. That doesn't happen in Green Bay. And that's what's costing them Super Bowls. They need to go all in. For 2 organizations, they're ecstatic at 3-3. 2 organizations are struggling to get better, clawing and figuring out any way they can to compete for a Super Bowl like they're supposed to. And one organization is sitting around, tongue held out of his mouth, not knowing what it's doing. Brian Gutekunst, the GM, I didn't like him at first. He was drafted well. But it is time to make a move. It is time to make your statement move as a GM. Go out and get a Charles Woodson type player, but on offense. That's what won us the Super Bowl back in 2010. Went out, got Charles Woodson. He inspired the defense. Go out and get that style of player for the offense. Not Chase Claypool. Not one of those guys. You go out and you get a difference maker who's going to keep his head down like DJ Moore would. Who would go out there and ball and put up 1,000 yards in the next 10 weeks. There's no reason for the Packers to just sit this year. 3-3 means much different things for different teams. Flat out. Moving on to my next topic today, the Kyler Murray outburst. If you guys didn't see it last night, the Arizona Cardinals and the New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football, They doled it out. The Arizona Cardinals ended up escaping with that win. But I've said it for months now. Arizona, it's just too damn noisy. And last night, Kyler Murray, he erupted. He looked like, I can't read lips. I'm no master of lip reading. Don't get me wrong. But it looked like he said to head coach Cliff Kingsbury, calm the F down. And this is just thing. The internet blew up over this. Everybody was freaking out. And it's, people don't like confrontation. You go into work, you have an employee, a fellow employee that you don't like. You don't say anything. You don't confront the employee. Confrontation does not happen a lot unless it happens online. Online, it's a little bit more common. Everybody, and that's why I feel like it made people uncomfortable seeing that from Kyler. But everybody, let me remind you, this is sports. It's live. It's real time. They don't have 38 do-overs like actors do. Also, it's 2022. There's 50 cameras on this game. We can see everything now. Not to mention there's more eyes watching than ever. This is football. This is sports. Outbursts happen when stuff goes wrong. And last night, it was going wrong. If it wasn't for 2 Andy Dalton pick sixes, Arizona could have easily lost that game. 20 to 25 teams in this league. I want y'all to really think about this. 20 to 25 teams in this league would love to have Kyler Murray at quarterback. I mean, Patrick Mahomes with Kansas City, the Chargers with Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow with Bengals, Lamar Jackson with Baltimore, Aaron Rodgers, he's getting old. Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray, you could kind of interchange them there. There's not a lot of teams I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't go out and go for Kyler Murray. He's got speed. He's got accuracy. He could throw the deep ball. I wish he was a bit taller, yes, but I wish Tom Brady moved a little bit better. You don't have to love everything about him, but people defend guys far worse than him. Look at Baker Mayfield. He is a star. Arizona just won't treat him like a star. Through the contracts, through calling him out, through letting him call plays and then calling him out. It's just not. Treat your quarterback with some respect. You're paying them that much money. Treat him like a star. And the big question I think that needs to come about, it's not about Kyler Murray, his character, his outburst, anything of that nature. It's, we don't know if this coach, Cliff Kingsbury, we don't know if he can coach. He had a losing record in college and was a shock of a hire. He's 500 throughout his career. He's a mediocre coach. The thing I don't know is if Cliff Kingsbury's a good coach. I know Kyler Murray's good. 20 to 25 teams would love to have that guy in at quarterback. So don't get all fed up in the confrontation and him looking like he's saying just calm the F down. It's football. There's outbursts. It's live. There's not 38 do-overs. What people need to be asking is not, is Kyler Murray okay? Is Cliff Kingsbury okay? And I want to move on to a topic. I was just looking at stats earlier. Me and my roommate had an interesting conversation about this last night. It was about the New England Patriots and Mac Jones or Bailey Zappe. Bailey Zappe came out of Western Kentucky, came out of Conference USA. Not a lot of people knew of this kid, but of course Bill Belichick went and drafted him. And Mac Jones has been hurt for a few weeks now. And Bailey Zappe, he has been balling. Jones in his starts this season, he's 1 for 2. He has a 66 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and 76.2 passer rating. Bailey Zappe, he's 2-0, 72.9% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 111.4 passer rating. The question here is, Mac Jones is about to be healthy. Do you go back to your first round pick? Do you go back to the guy you spent a 10th overall pick on in Mac Jones? Or do you let Zappe keep balling? See what he can do. Leave him in there a couple more weeks. Say, we want to make sure Mac Jones is fully healthy. Give him another week. And this came down to me to one thing. There was a report that came out earlier this week about Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. And it's basically, everybody knows, he's a second-year quarterback. Him and the Patriots, they should be going like this. Him and the Patriots are breaking apart. That was the report that came out. They are splitting apart. There's a lot of emotions. And the question here is that report true? So I'm going to give you guys two scenarios. Let's say that report is true. Mac Jones and the Patriots organization know that relationship is going sour. In that situation, if I was the Patriots, I would stick with Zappe. You don't know what's happening. Mac Jones is a limited quarterback already. Zappe has more talent than Jones does. Stick with Zappe. Put Mac Jones back in his place. He can be the backup. You got to stick with Zappe, especially if things are going sideways. Trade Mac Jones at the end of the season. If that report is false, you need to do everything in your power to get your 10th overall pick back out there onto that field. Zappe, he's only played in 2 games. There's only 2 games of NFL film on him. You can't compare him to his college film. He was playing against Conference USA athletes. That's not one of the top 7 conferences in the country. You cannot compare him to that. The second he gets 6 games under his belt, teams, especially good ones, are going to begin to figure out what this kid's about. He's going to have all of his tendencies, everything about him on film within 4 to 6 games. So it's really a crossroads here. Is that story true? Are Mac Jones and the Patriots splitting? Or is Bailey Zappe just stepping in for now? And then, a couple weeks, maybe this week, Mac Jones is going to come back, take over the helm, and see what he can do. But so far, he's sitting at 1-2 this season, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not a lot is happening in terms of Mac Jones, and it really might be time for the Patriots to make a decision. I want to move on to my 3 best bets of the day before I throw it to one NBA topic and then get out of here. I know, rather short episode today, but I will be back with a much longer episode next week. But the 3 best bets for today, I've got the Giants at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here, I got to take the New York Giants. They're purely rolling right now. This is a contract year as well for Daniel Jones. I was saying it before the year started. This is such an important year in Danny Dimes' career. If he blew it this year, he was going to be labeled as a backup for the rest of his life. But he's making himself this year, and he's earning himself that massive payday. And he's going to continue that role and going to continue the Giants on to 6-1, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars in their place. Next game, we're going Chiefs at 49ers. 49ers, I'm pretty sure Christian McCaffrey will not play this Sunday purely because he was just traded last night. He has got San Francisco today. They're not going to work him in that quick. 49ers, they're still reeling a little bit. They'll slide to 3-4. The Chiefs are going to get this win. And then Lions at Cowboys. A lot of people are going to be shocked when I say this, but I got to go with Motor City, Dan Campbell, and the Detroit Lions. Dak is back most likely this weekend, and I think that's exactly what's going to cost the Dallas Cowboys this game. Cooper Rush, that offense, they're more died down. They're more calm. They don't have to do all these flashy plays. Dak adds so much more to the playbook. He makes it more confusing for guys. Cooper Rush right now is the better fit for that system with Mike McCarthy as your head coach. He's not a great guy. With Dak Prescott, you need an offensive mastermind like Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay, not Mike McCarthy. And for that reason, Dak coming back, they're going to intensify the offense. They're going to try explore new things, and that's going to cost them the game in Jerry's world. So my 3 bets, it's going to be the Giants. It's going to be the Chiefs over the 49ers, and it's going to be the Lions going into Jerry World and upsetting the Cowboys. And just a quick note on last week, we went 3-1 last week, including picking the game It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers upset the Buccaneers in a massive game. Was very happy to pick that right. And the last topic I want to get into today is a little bit of NBA. I just want to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers a little bit and how they have decided to go into this season and mess it all up again. They are 0-2 for the second straight season. And they came in, they decided, after last year, the abysmal that it was, how horrendous it was, they decided to come back in with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook. That's right, brick. Anthony Davis is a piece of glass. I said it numerous times last season. He gets hurt too easily, and the Lakers need three-point shooters. Anthony Davis should have been traded this offseason. And it pisses me off even more how LeBron could come out of that game against the Clippers the other night and says he's so optimistic. We might have lost, but I am optimistic. They are already struggling from the three. Westbrook, they moved him to the second team. They're moving him back and forth. There's so much noise coming out of that organization. Anthony Davis is bound to get hurt soon. And LeBron, in season 19, season 20, he can't carry it like he did back in 2018, 2016, stuff like that. He can't carry all by himself anymore. It's simply not possible. The Lakers, they should have moved on this offseason. They should have built themselves a new team based around what the game has gone to, which is three-point shooting. But they chose to stick with the same cast of stars, and I am just praying they decide to make a trade before the deadline. They had a chance a couple years back to go get DeRozan. That fell through. There's been other guys. There's been Kawhi Leonard. They seem to fall through on every big acquisition. And with LeBron James in LA, with the amount of stars in LA, you should not be falling through when it comes to signing big names. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another edition of the Adam Eisen Show. I will see you all Tuesday for the Week 7 recap of the NFL, and then next Friday for another edition of the show. Until then, peace.